Good afternoon, Laura. It is 12:12 as we start. So maybe that's significant or that number has been on your ass. So first and foremost, let me adjust the sound. This was a bit louder than I was imagining it was going to be. But whenever I do these, a frequency from, they have a plethora of different, your body's frequency too, reverse hack, if you will. And I like your order and everything. And then I go pick out the frequency found that specifically very helpful during these gifts readings to tap further into the lagging. I think that's coming from the video, but after I remain on this screen and don't move around, it should stop. My voice will continue, but my hands and stuff will be like, which is kind of annoying in and out. I'm gonna try not to focus on that so I don't all the time. I would like to think that there was like a meaning behind it. Ant-Man. It was Ant-Man versus something. But the girl who was moving through like quantum time glitches. Like you could never see her dead on. Like the moment you would think she's here, she's already in your face, like, ah. Because you maybe there is something wild to this. But I really wish it would like, hold on, I'm gonna pause for a minute. Like me. Now look at this. I paused the recording after that little segment there just to see if it would catch up like a lag in the video game. And here we are. So, boom. Uh, let's get started. Can I have some details on Laura's gifts? She went to the screen to see your name so I can tap into the right energy because I see you have two names listed, like probably your maiden and your married name. What do I need to know today about Laura's gifts? She needs to know about her gifts. So I was explaining that I chose for you the sun as the sound or the frequency that felt most like the energy that was reflected when I tapped into your design, your human, right? So the sun's warm, it's exuberant, people are drawn to it naturally. Uh, it is inspiration, it helps things grow. It is reliable. It is something you always look forward to seeing, right? So the first thing I got off of your energy, this one says comfort, but this is that sun energy. So you have a natural magnetism. And this comes out in like a form of manifestation, I'm getting. So in regards to spiritual gifts, you don't have a hard time pulling yourself out of dark spots, manifesting what you want or need for yourself, or ending up somewhere that happens to connect to something else you were trying to do. Like if you were an affirmation, it would be everything is working out for me. that's your energy. And it's because your life goes like that that your mind works in that way. So when somebody comes to talk to you about their problems, you're very comforting. This also means that you like have a thick Cancer energy to you as well, along with some Leo in there, some Sun. I'm feeling maybe like you have Cancer in the fifth house or something. It doesn't feel like a lot of direct, like bam, uh, Leo energy, but the Cancer energy is there's some connection to this. I can't wait till you tell me what's in your chart. So you're also a confidant because of this. You see this trust thing, but this is like sneaky Leo. Like maybe you would have it in the 12th or like in a not so personal planet, right? Because not only do you magnetize and stuff for yourself, people just like being around you because you make them feel better, you nurture their feelings, but you can also like sense when something is wrong with somebody and check in. But a lot of the times you don't even have to check in, I'm getting, because people just tell you all their tea. That's what this trust is. Like you'll be just having a regular or thinking you're going to have a regular conversation. I think sometimes you don't even think it's about to be a regular conversation. You'll just be like, hey, how are you doing today? And then somebody will be like, you know what? Now that you ask me, and this could be a complete stranger. They're about to tell you their whole life. You're about to know so much stuff that is none of your business. But it's because the people you come across are not only representations of your guides, like sometimes you're coming across your guide that's just trying to remind you about yourself, but they are people who need your guidance as well. The same way that there are angels that come through and do missions for you in that way that you always end up right where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there, and you're like, how did that even, like, wow, wasn't that fate? And you get those mini miracles. You are that mini miracle for many other people. I'm also feeling the need to tell you that your sexual energy is also the equivalent here. It is very comforting. It is very healing. You have it in abundance. So there is definitely a sunny aspect that you may notice in your partners after you engage with them, but that is because you have taken energy from your heart and poured it into them. And I have a diagram because I was waiting on the right opportunity to share this with people. Oh my gosh, I don't want my brand to become all like sex and love, but I know if I start like sharing the stuff that I know about it and like the healing process, that it will take a forefront because even the algorithm happens to favor cleavage, boobs, sex, relationships. I guess the things that people are most interested in nowadays. But I didn't want that to become the brand. So I was just sitting on this, trying to figure out what info I should lead with. So what happens when you have intercourse is the person that has the womb, right? They pull energy from their heart space where like their source energy is, and it goes down through the womb and then it shoots through the other person's member, whatever member they're using, and goes into their heart. So you are refilling, as the feminine, refilling the container. I guess that's the best way to put it. Whoever is the container with your heart energy. So your love is healing. Your physical love and energy is healing. You might notice you lift people's depression with that energy. Like if you are dating somebody who's in a bad space, they spend some intimate time with you is the best way I could say that. And I can even put this in one-on-one connections. Like if you have a best friend and they spend some intimate time with you talking about stuff like deep, heavy stuff, like whatever it is you're passionate about talking about that really gets you going. When somebody's in your energy, when you're really like locked in, whatever vibe they get from you or frequency they take off of you, it's one that leads to them growing in some way. So this is making me feel like you also have some seventh house stuff going on. You help people grow. You are, it's the sun. It's the sun. Even the heart is the sun. So fifth house, Leo, solar energy. Like you probably do best when you're doing stuff out in the day. Like you get recharged. You don't get drained. Uh, because God is everybody's source, or source is everybody's like plug. But for you, it's like you have a internal generator. So because you are your own supply, your own recharge pack, you do not require anybody else's energy at all. There's no vampire here. If anything, people will vamp off of you, but you have such an abundance, it takes a lot to knock you down. But when you are pushed, when your Cancer energy is exerted, this means when somebody is crowding you too much with their energy, or you have inserted yourself in a situation where you're giving away too much too much energy, and you're a little overcommitted, you will then run into this frustration where you need to get away from other people. Like you won't know why you're irritated. You won't know why you need to lash out or anything, but it's because you have absorbed too much and given away too much of your own. One or the other or both, sometimes I'm getting. It's like you're a very giving person and you don't know you're burnt out until you're burnt out. And then it's like, all right, guys, it's already too far gone. Just back away from the ball. If you have any issues with mood up and downs, or even seasonal depression, this would be why. Because you give out so much for a long period, what you need is a regular regiment that includes alone time, purely alone time. Because when people are around you, they're going to want to talk to you. You're going to want to host. You're going to want to all of that. When you're alone, you don't feel the need to put on, you don't have to share your energy, you don't have to do anything but be still. And I get the feeling that you really don't mind being still, laying out in the sun, listening to the breeze. Like you would be perfectly happy with that. That would be a great way for you to recharge, just to be in silence. Feels like it would be your way to recharge your peace. And then you get a lot of messages that way also. A lot of clarity on your own situation. Because when you're with other people and they need advice, it's like it spouts out of you right away. You have no problem giving advice. It comes to you intuitively, and most of the time you are right. Uh, but when it comes to you, it's like you only get to hear your own stuff or what you need to hear reflected through the people that sometimes come and have those random conversations with you. And then when you leave afterwards, you're like, dang, I needed to hear that advice. Or when you are completely still in that silence, connecting with the actual sun and your solitude, then you hear your own stuff reflected back to you. Besides that, you are just a Pentium processing blah, blah, blah machine for other people's emotions and thoughts and feelings and ideas and creativity. You are just like a firefly that also shines during the day. That's what I would like name you if it was a superpower or you were like some sort of mask person, like daylight firefly. That would be you. So I have some more information on Laura's spiritual gifts. I guess to sum it up, I would say being a beacon for messages for other people, being an inspiration. It does count as a spiritual gift because you do it just like with somebody being in your energy signature, just with them watching what you do. They're like, oh, they get inspired and they start doing their own thing. Like you activate people with your energy. I would say that if anything, you're like an angel activator. Because you ought to, yeah, you pick up as soon as you step into their bubble, pick up on what needs to be said to them. And it's just something that comes innately. You don't even think about it. It just like spews out of you. And then afterwards you're like, huh. It's like a walking, talking conduit for messages that you can never turn off. That's just strongest set up there. So both of these cards have somebody who's like looking up and off. This is a reference to what I was saying about you being that daylight firefly. Like you still light up at night. Look how like bright she is, but still there's like this glow over here. Like you're never disconnected from source. That's the most important thing. You always like are being led. Even when you feel like you're lost and you have those frustration blocks. You are an undercover agent of war working to make sure that people who would hate their lives don't hate their lives. You are saving souls in that way. Like you pop up right in somebody's life when they're like, all right, this is enough of that, God. Like here comes Laura happening to just come across their life. So your assignments are on a per person basis. I'm getting like as far as where your gifts go. In the future, you might start getting dreams ahead of time before you meet the people if they're really significant wards, as I call them, or uh, clients, spiritual clients. But you are already assigned to certain people to enter their lives during that time at whatever vibration that you are resonating at, because you are at that vibration in order to meet them there and then help them lift out. So you're like air rescue, wings and all. So, Miss Sunshine, I hope you enjoyed this and I can't wait to hear your feedback.